Oh, Bob, if you please.
Hello, everyone. All right, that was like 53.5% of y'all. So I need the other like 47.5. Is my math right? 47.5% of y'all. How y'all doing? All right, good. I'm gonna be quick. As my auntie says, you don't want to make people happy twice. Happy to see you get up and happy to see you sit down. So I'm gonna be quick. I want to talk to you. I'm like one half of the creative project called Sitting in the Intersection. It's a podcast. It's a road trip. It is about this uncomfortability we experience or comfortability we experience in relationships across differences, and what it takes to make those things work, or why they don't work at all. I myself am a Chapel Hill native, born and raised right down the street in Chapel Hill. And I'm a poet. I am a performance artist. I'll do some poems for you today, but the main sort of thesis statement of all the poems that I'm going to do today, all as in both, all as in two, is that what it means for us to be bridges. And a major tenet of being a bridge for me that I believe in is that bridges can't choose sides. And in many ways, it means that we have to be grounded in two places often. Sometimes in our work, that means being very grounded with the people we are providing service to and in our organizations, which are sometimes problematic, right? And to navigate both of those spaces from a space of being grounded. And so the first piece I want to tell you about, a lot of times our experience, in addition, is not always the one in which we are serving, right? So the first poem is about Malawi. I've never been to Malawi. I would like to go at some point. But yeah, let's let it speak for itself. All it took were pictures and stories of a Malawian woman to remind me I was African. That somewhere within my erased heritage and language there are smudges of Chichewa. Flipping through photos reminds me I was once a child. Without the awareness and resources to counter the situation I was born into, can you imagine being born into a village where survival is as predictable as coin flips and wishing wells? Well, they would be too optimistic in the picture I look into. While listening to the narrator, she is poised with clandestine confidence, masking an empty home except for a grandmother and older brother, but I saw the slave ships in her shadow. Saw manifest destiny in the tools she uses to farm, saw more of me in her countenance than in the mirror this morning, saw my mother in the calluses on her feet, farming peppers in Lewisburg, North Carolina, Leakness, Genu, picks peanuts in Malawi, Africa. In the story I have been hearing, there is a metaphor that the people are the peanuts. Sitting beneath the surface of sympathetic soil, Malawi is full of medical consideration, but there are few who are telling their stories. Perhaps it is too much to consider them more than patients. However, there is some debate about who is harvesting in the metaphor, whether it is the country or the virus, AIDS. I lost my cousin many years ago in autumn. She never thought she would fall in love, and out of breath, her dreams of the big city and bright lights peaked with a high-rise love affair that now casts a shadow on her flickering life. I remember watching her lie there, too weak to lift her voice, her body too fragile to break my silence. I just looked, couldn't say much of anything, but finally mustered up the courage to tell her, I love you, cuz you know I'll be praying for you. There are children praying in the next picture. I pray that God is listening, that there's not too much sin in their blood for miracles to penetrate. Hoping he will not make them pay for their parents' mistakes in T cells. You don't have to look too closely to see well that there is a motherland beaming from my follicles. My heart drums a djembe rhythm over old Negro spirituals. My skin, a combination of melanin and Malawi pigment and peanuts. It is as African as apartheid and conflict diamonds. I am as American as baseball and Obama. But by the time I learned I was African, I was too black. Too present in hip-hop, gospel, and R&B to notice the origin of their beats. Too busy worshiping Martin to revere Mandela, and too confused to notice that I am one in the same, black skin, the red blood that runs through my veins, a part of a race and gender being harvested beneath the green leaves of a cash crop in a field of dreams. My motherland taught me I am East and West hemispheres poured into a melting pot, seared by slavery and a hot and dry heritage that curls into a question mark right around Confederate flags and cotton gins, there are answers in the echoes of pages from a middle passage, click, in the stories stories spoken about Malawi in Chichewa, click, in a Malawian woman's story, click, in an African-American man's story, click. I am a collage, a collection of frames and images, a threadbare patchwork quilt tattered and torn, waving in the wind. I hope you see me. Now, one more fun story, poem. I often find myself, I was raised like fundamentalist, Pentecostal, all the knock down, drag out Christianity. Right here in Chapel Hill, like right outside the rural buffer, which is a place where the newspaper doesn't get delivered, is the short of that. And we don't get invited to the town council meeting, but we still live in Chapel Hill. But because we lived in Chapel Hill, my relatives thought we was rich and wealthy. Was not the case. I grew up very poor in Chapel Hill, but I also grew up very Christian. Went to school and studied environmental science and geology, and then had a very sciencey brain. And I found myself in the middle of this conversation about God and existence, and this poem is an attempt to be a bridge. I'll leave you with this, and then I'm going to step off the stage. No happy twiceness. Walk in the light, beautiful light. Come where the dewdrops of mercy shine bright. Shine all around us by day and by night. And people, the light of the world. I said freedom, the light of the world. It is my world. It processes with me. If I stop, it stops. Keep moving, keep pushing. When they say it should all be the same, when they say God said it, when they say God is it, when they say God believes it, when they say God is white, when they say God is man, when they say God is jealous, vengeful, wrathful, when they say God would have it that way, like God is in the line at Burger King, when they say God believes in me, when they say God lives in a book, when they say God and evolution are two different things, when they say God don't dance, don't curse, don't party, don't hang out with people who don't shout out his son by bumper sticker, tattoo, or other bodily accessory, when they say who God is, when they claim who God was, when they legislate who he will be, when they say God hates fags, when they say God don't make people like that, when they say God is not the stone, not the tree, not the synaptic gap, when they say God is from earth, when they say God is from another planet, when they say God is the government, when they say God is not the government, when they say it's God's will, God let them die, decided we should live, when they say God don't give handouts, but he do give bailouts, when they say God believes in oil and fracking, when they say God is only Jesus, only Buddha, only Muhammad, when they say God hates your lifestyle, and they really mean you. When they say God hates you, and they really mean your lifestyle. When they say God hates your boyfriend, hates your girlfriend, says your brother's transgendered body is an abomination. When they say God hates, 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 when they say God kills, believes in war, eugenics, massacres, the NSA in Guantanamo Bay. When they say God believes in predator drones and standardized testing in neighborhood schools and voter ID and covered women and loud men. When they say God don't like sex, don't have sex, it's not both infinite and intimate. When they say God gave men all the hard and authority and women all the soft and obedient. When they say they found him like God was lost somewhere in a segregated sandbox. When they say God is intolerant, progressive, Democrat, Republican, alt-right, a separatist. When they say God made us in his image. When they say we were not given a God made in man's image, a jealous God, a God that needs to be served, worshiped, praised, a human God. It is our world. It processes with us. If we stop, it stops. Keep moving. Keep pushing. even when they say it should all be the same. Thank you all very much.
Social